Hi, we're back.
Welcome to another Coffee Conversations and Q&A.
Thanks
Cheers.
for being here.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We have had an eventful few days. We've had a lot going on around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family in town?
We did. We had family in town, so it was nice to kind of
Yes, different experience.
just, relax and
Yes.
and spend some quality family time together. So
Yes.
that's what we've been up to the last few days. Haven't been on social media as much, which actually
Not much. That was a
is
good
nice.
thing. Refreshing.
But we thought we'd bring an episode this morning while we're sipping
Yes.
our coffee and
With our
invite
froth.
you to join us.
Yes.
I don't know about where you guys live, but where we're living, it is looking like spring. I mean, spring is springing.
Yes. We love it for our walks.
Yep. It's
And the kids.
It's nice to be able to get out. And, this time of year, you never know what kind of weather you're going to get, but it might be cool and crisp in the morning and warms up, in the afternoon. And
Yep.
you might get some rain, but, the rain brings those beautiful flowers. We're starting to
We
see
love it. Yeah, the tulips are coming up.
those are some of my favorites. So the tulips are starting to come up,
You want to
and
get our flowers, get our tulips.
that's exciting. Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime.
Anytime.
I like flowers, but definitely tulips. They're pretty, and we've got some of those at the front of the property. So
Yes.
that's always nice to see. But trees are starting to bloom. So
Yes, the grass is getting green. We're
We're-
back on that mower. Riding.
for quality quiet time, right? Just
Yes.
Not so quiet, but it's quiet. So it's when you're riding the mower, sometimes it's nice. It's peaceful.
Yes,
Even though it's loud,
zone
it's
out.
peaceful. You
Yes.
can just kind of focus and think and
Yeah,
do.
no listening to music. It's too loud.
It's too loud. So, anyways,
Yes.
let us know, how the weather is. I know there was a big snowstorm that covered part of the country a couple days ago. Some people are still digging out.
Right, and the kids want that.
We don't have that here, so
No, they've been looking every day.
I can see buds coming on the trees and everything. So there's no
And the birds
whites.
are out.
They are. They're out in full force.
Hundreds.
It's
Yeah,
it's
we have to
incredible.
park in the garage.
Yeah, to
'Cause
avoid their
they're
aim.
released.
They're everywhere, so we
Yeah.
got to make sure we don't leave the car out for too long because they're out there.
They even got our sister's car. And I drove it and I put it there.
Being the gentleman that he is, he cleaned it, so that's
Yes,
good.
and moved it.
Yeah, and moved it to a different location, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. But
Not under trees. No?
no.
No.
So tell us what's new. What's going on with you guys. We love hearing
Yes.
from you.
And how was your weekend?
How was your weekend? How was are you looking forward to spring? Something that I also like about spring is the spring cleaning. Now, I like to keep things pretty clean as it is.
Yes.
And always
love it
having an
clean.
excuse to clean things more or get more organized or toss some things away or donate or give away.
We like to toss and we like to donate.
Going through the kids' rooms and clearing out the
What's
clutter.
not being used,
Someone else
out.
can use it. Because if not, it just turns into more and more crapola
Yes.
that we don't need. So
Yes.
I like a spring cleaning. So let us know, how's the weather? Are you looking forward to spring
yes. Are
cleaning?
you wearing those coats still?
Yeah. Are you starting to pull out the flip-flops? Because I'm all about the flip-flops.
Flip-flop lady right
Yeah.
here.
If I could just walk around with no shoes. Oh, grounding. That's always good. That was something
Yes.
we were doing a lot of this weekend, just getting
Yes.
out and grounding
I
and
didn't
Mason.
know there was little mats you can plug in and
Into the grounding wire. I mean, that's
yes.
all. There's so much.
Or bedspreads.
There's so
or
many-
even a sheet.
So many things out there. So
Yes.
that's why we always see. Always got to be learning. You've always got to
Yes.
be. You know what
It's a
you
daily
know.
thing.
But there's always more to learn. There's always more to research or
Yes.
learn about. So what are you doing to do that? Whether that's in speaking
read-
or events or just in life in general. Are you learning a new skill? Are you learning?
Yes.
Maybe you don't know how to cook something. You want to learn how to cook, or maybe you want to learn how to bake, or maybe you want to learn how to make something
You've
or
been baking your
create
butt
something.
off.
Baking lots of zucchini bread over here.
Wonderful.
It's
Like
delicious.
heaven.
And it gets gobbled up so fast around here. We have little
Yeah, we're going to make about 10 and freeze them.
little gobblers that just keep.
Or I'll hide them under the bed.
There's
and
worse
I'll
things they
just-
could be eating, I guess, than homemade zucchini bread. So
Yes.
we just keep it flowing over here.
Yeah.
But right now we've got our coffee. Thanks to CJ, he made a fresh cold brew. So we got to taste that. Refreshing.
You have any
Yeah.
froth on your lip?
I know. I think
How do I look?
you look good. I think it's good. So now that we've done some conversation. Yeah, that's what we said.
Conversation.
Conversations and a little chit chat and catching up. We have a few questions. We do put out the Q&A box periodically.
Yes.
So if you see that, drop in a question that you have, and
Or
like
two.
we talked about before,
Or
if you-
three.
You know, whatever you got.
Yeah.
And it can be event related. It can be
Life related.
Life related.
What we're doing.
Whatever. Just drop a question. We're always here to
Yes.
to answer those
Answer
for
anything
you guys.
for you.
And then if you have a question and you don't see the Q&A box, you can always send us a message as well, and we will maybe
Yes.
we'll hear your question in the next conversations and Q&A that we got. So
Here we go. So, first question. How should I dress when I'm speaking? No flip-flops.
darn it.
There's some events you can flip-flops and jeans or a
If
shirt.
it's at the beach, yes.
Yes.
And that's something is, you know, if you're the speaker or you're the presenter or you're the MC or you're
Yes,
the
you-
authority,
Yes.
you need to dress as
Yes,
such.
accordingly.
Right? You always, you can never go wrong being the best dressed person in the room.
Nope.
Right? And not saying that you always, I mean, if you're at your house and you're comfy and you don't need to be in a suit or in a skirt or in a dress or in a pantsuit or something like, or a jumper.
Save it
And
for the right times.
And yet when you're out and about and you are speaking or you are at an event or you are presenting, people look at what you're wearing, and that is part
They
of
will.
you. That's part of your
Yeah,
brand.
they'll
It's part of
judge
your
also.
image.
Yes.
That's part. So if you what's that saying, like dress for success, right?
Or dress to impress.
That too. And you're not really looking to impress someone as much as you're looking to impress yourself. If you're
Yes.
when you
Looking good and
look
feeling good.
and you know you look good, you feel good. You stand differently.
You're looking good too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a different posture. You carry
Yes.
yourself differently. You have a different
Correct.
energy about you. And so it's just as much for you, so how you feel and your confidence and your radiance, than it is for people on the outside looking
Yes.
in, right?
Correct.
But again, you're the authority, you're the leader, you're the expert. So be that, right? So if there's nothing wrong with dressing up, there's nothing wrong
No.
with putting on a nice suit, a nice tailored, well-fit suit.
Yes,
right?
not
That's the other thing. Not
oversized or too
something-
tight and attempting to use the button.
It's not a good
It's
look.
where you get the giant crease. No, don't.
Or it's
don't.
too small, it's coming untucked in certain places.
Yeah.
Or
Leave the jacket open, number one.
that. Or, if you have a three-piece suit, you look good. For the
Yeah.
ladies, putting on a nice dress with some heels
Yes.
and some accessories, great. If you want to wear
not
a
6
skirt,
inch, right? No 6 inch.
you can if you want. I mean, if you got it, work it.
Legs can take it.
So now you might want to bring some flip-flops for when you're done. You can,
Yeah.
when you walk to the
Have 'em on your
valet
hip.
or to the car or wherever you're
In
going.
your purse.
You got them, so you can, change them out. That's fine.
Yes.
Maybe you want a nice pantsuit, or jumpers are really big right now, and you can get some
nice
really
ones.
professional, cute jumpers as well.
Yeah, they
so
look great.
You want to be you. You just want to enhance who you are, and by putting on good fitting, nice looking clothes, that goes a long way, right?
Yes.
Also, it's not just the clothes; it's the shoes, it's the belt, it's the accessories.
the hair.
For ladies, it's your jewelry that you're wearing. You don't want it to
Yeah.
be so overpowering and distracting. Also, when
Yes.
you're speaking, if you've got a lot of jingle jangle going on, it messes with the mic.
Yes.
Right? So earrings that are
All those
clinking and clanking.
chains.
You've got bracelets that are hitting certain things.
Yes, ka-chink, ka-chink, ka-chink,
It's-
ka-chink.
You don't want that, right? So you want to be clean, polished. You want to
Yes,
look
and
good,
looking good.
but not all the extra that's going to be distracting
Right.
to your presentation.
Yep.
For the men, a good clean cut, however that is for you.
Yes.
Even if you have longer hair, there's a difference between longer hair that looks well presented and well put
Yes.
together and not.
And if you have long, put it in a ponytail.
Or make it look good, right? Make sure
Yes.
it's washed and freshly cut. Facial hair, the same thing. If you want a beard and that's your
Yes.
thing, go with it. Just make sure it looks clean.
And take a shower that day.
Yeah, make sure you smell good, right?
Yes.
That's important. Now, I'm not saying you need to douse yourself in a bunch of cologne
No.
or perfume.
No.
That's actually off-putting, right? But you
is.
also don't want to be on the other side where you leave a trail with you behind.
Yes, so that-
where,
That musk.
yeah, that's what we'll call it.
Musk.
It's a good word for it.
Thank
so those are all things to think of.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you want to dress. And being the best dressed person in the room. Great.
Yep,
even the kids,
that's
they're like,
perfectly.
I want to wear a suit, or I want to wear. Great,
Yeah,
awesome.
they
Go
want to
for
wear
it.
their bow ties.
Yeah, because why? It makes you feel good. So dress to make yourself feel good and be a good image and
Yes.
a good outward portrayal of you, your brand, your topic, all those kind of things. All right, next question. What is the difference between classroom, theater, and rounds? So this is
Big
talking
difference.
to the layout of your room. Theater normally is just chairs that are put
Yes.
together, stacked together
Yes.
in rows.
Yes.
So there's
sometimes
no,
locked.
Sometimes
Oh,
they're
it's
locked
horrible when they're
together.
locked.
Sometimes they're just sitting together. Normally you have rows of just chairs. So that's theater
Yes.
style. Think of it
With a
as
couple feet in between. Yes.
and that's it. So think of it as like a theater. You know, there's nothing, tables, nothing like that. Now, classroom style is tables with chairs.
Yes.
And normally, you know, you have a couple feet in between each person spaced out so
Yep.
they can write or they can have their computer on there. They can have, so your whatever you have going on, but that is
Yes.
table with chairs, a little more spread out
Yes.
on that. And then your rounds are just that. They're round tables.
They're more for events and cocktail
depends.
parties sometimes.
Dinners, but some
Yes.
events they do like their people sitting around
Right.
a table, and normally a round table is 8 to 10 people around a table.
Yes.
And so
More for
some
meals, you would
some
think.
prefer that though as well,
Yes.
not just for meals or for like galas.
I don't like it for events because what about the people that have to sit
Their back
with
is
their
to
back
the
is
stage
turned?
or to the screen.
No.
So I like it for more evening events, more
Yes.
galas, more dinners.
With tablecloth.
Things like that. Yeah, you've always got to have your linens on
Linens,
any table that you
always.
have.
Yes.
You want the linens. So those are kind of the differences between, but each of those, I mean, you can pack more people into a room, theater, than you can classroom.
Yes.
You can pack more people into classroom than you can rounds. So think about that when you're
Right.
when you're putting together your space, but also what type of event you're having will coincide with what type of seating
Yes.
arrangements you should be having as well.
And there's also aisles that you have to have also. So when you have the center, there's going to be an aisle in the middle. And then it matters if the room is long and wide or not. And then they'll have another aisle.
Yeah, it's
further
all for your
down.
layout.
Yes.
But that's kind of the distinction between the differences. Okay, next one.
How old are your kids?
Oh, okay. So Jaden is 11.
Riley is 7.
Nope.
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 She
Riley's
what?
9.
9. No, that's Mason.
Yeah, and Mason
is
is 7.
7.
So we have
Yes, sorry
11,
about that.
9, and 7.
Yes,
Jaden,
yes.
Riley, Mason. So
Yes.
they're all
22 months apart.
Yep, that
Not on
wasn't planned.
purpose.
It's just how
Yeah.
it worked out. But
Yes,
they're
exactly 22 months.
And Mason will be the first to tell you that he is nearing 8. He is on
Yes.
a countdown. He can see it. He already has
Yes.
his theme picked out. He already knows what he wants. Like,
Yes.
it's big. Turning 8 is big
He
for
just
him.
said how many days last night.
Yep, he counted it up himself. He didn't even ask. He
Yep.
told us. So, yeah, they're at great ages right now. All right.
And I do remember my kids' ages. So
what are they?
11, 9, 7.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah, because their birthdays are coming, so
Yeah,
it
they're coming.
changes.
I heard you mention rear projection. What is that? That's you.
So you don't want to do puppet shows and having the projection in front of the screen and somebody in front unless they're on the far sides and nobody's walking there, even though people walk in front anyway. Rear projection is when you have at least 10 feet, sometimes 15 feet behind the screens and the drape to hide the projectors and the projector image and everything else.
It's just a better look.
And it looks better.
It's cleaner.
Yes.
You know that people can walk and they're not going to block the image that's going on, and it just looks better aesthetically with
It
the
does.
room.
It
and
does.
it's just all around. If you can do rear projection, do it.
Right. Just make sure you have enough room in the back.
And that where it comes to if you know
you need enough space.
what you need for
and
your
what
space.
kind of projector you have, and they'd even ask, how much distance do I need for my projector to have rear projection?
Good, good.
Yes.
Alrighty, next question. Are there times of the year you shouldn't have an event? Yes, there are. There are a lot of days throughout
Yes.
the event that aren't as advantageous to have your event, right?
Because other things are going on.
You always want to look at the major holidays
Yes.
and in the country that you're in, right? And
Yes.
what are those major holidays? Avoid those, right? You don't want to have an event
On Christmas.
going up to Christmas.
No.
People are not going to go. Unless, here's a caveat, unless
Before the
it's a
middle.
holiday party or a holiday
course, it's
gala. Fine, but again,
Yeah, it's fine.
you don't want it the week before Christmas. You want it earlier in December, right?
Yes.
Same thing as, Thanksgiving.
First 2 weeks.
New Year's, unless it's a New Year's event. We kind of have but major holidays. Memorial Weekend is another one where a lot of
Yes.
people just want to go off with their
Yes.
family and travel and get out.
Not Super Bowl.
Super Bowl usually is a no-no, unless you're getting people together for some
party.
sort of
Yes.
party for the Super Bowl and you're tying it together. There's a lot of these are little caveats. It's like no, unless, right?
Yes.
It's so normally it's a no unless somehow you're incorporating that into your
Into your
event.
theme.
And that's part of it, then go for it, right? Because then people will get behind that and they'll want to come because it's part
Yes.
of it. Another one is like 4th of July usually is not the best. Labor Day. So there's a few in there. And then you want to look where you're having your event and you want to look around that city area and see, are there
Yes.
some major things going on that you want to avoid where you're having it as well?
Right, because you don't want any blocked off roads and nobody has access to get to your event.
Sometimes things are closed, or there's a big to-do going on. Each city has their different big things going on. Kind of avoid those times. Another thing is if there's a lot of big conferences or conventions that are going on, sometimes they're taking up a lot of meeting space, a lot of hotel rooms. Depending on the city you go to, there might not be
really hard to find a room.
other things, other event space, other sleeping rooms. Hotels are going to be hard to get in and out
booked
of.
up.
Restaurants,
And then attendees won't be able to get to your event.
right. So kind of think about that. Do a little bit of research into the area. There are better times to have it, and those holiday
Yes.
events. Stay away from that unless you're somehow dovetailing those together.
Right. Last question. What is a good room size?
That all depends. Your room size
The difference between
is
a 20 and 50 person event to
to
150.
right. If you're going to have 100 people in a room versus 1,000 people in a room, or 400 people in
Yes.
a room versus 8. There's a big difference. Now, like we talked about a few minutes ago, classroom, theater, rounds, that all plays into it as well. So you have to look at how many people
layout.
do you think you're going to have at your event, right? And then what layout do you want? Do you want theater? Do you want
Right.
classroom? Do you want, what are you looking for? What type of event are you having? And then once you have that information, then you'll be able to go to the venues and say, hey, look, these are the requirements.
What I need.
I need this many people with this layout or this setup.
Right.
You also want to look at, some events you want a stage. That's going to take up room.
They'll take
you
up
want
room.
your rear
Yes.
projection. That's going to take up room.
You want sales tables in the back.
That's going to take up room.
rooms.
You want to have registration out front. You don't want that part of your event inside.
No.
Another thing is some events you want a dance floor, or you want
Right.
space where people can. So all of these things come into play. So you have to. I can't just say like, oh, well, you need X amount of space,
Right.
because it depends on so many different variables. So gather the information of you want this many people. You want this
You
layout.
want to ask those questions.
These
too.
are the requirements that you need. So when you're reaching out to venues, you can let them know. People,
I need this many.
and then they'll
Yes.
know ahead of time, because you could just say,
Right.
hey, I need a room for 250 people, classroom style. And if that's all you say, you're going to fit in one room, versus if you say 250 classroom style with a riser or stage, right?
Yes, with tables in the
rear
back.
projection, with tables in the back.
Yes.
That's a whole different calculation, right?
That's why diagrams are so important.
You want your room diagram. You want to know your requirements, and then you want to let the venue know what you need, because if you just say X amount of people, X amount of layout,
Yes, and don't say
that's
anything
different
else about anything else.
versus the other
Yes.
things that you want as well. You're going to be stuck into like
Yeah,
a
screwed.
sardine can. So
Yeah, you're going to walk in and there's no room for your stage.
Yep.
There's no room for your projectors. You got to change everything.
another thing on room size is ceiling height matters, right? And so you want to make sure that you're
Yes.
choosing space that has higher ceilings. You don't want 8-foot ceilings, right?
No,
it
at
just-
least 12.
Yeah, you want higher, because then you can have your projectors. It doesn't feel like you're in a dungeon or in the basement where everything's so low, and the energy and the lights and everything. It just
Yep.
taller ceilings are better on your
Yes.
event space. So think
Always.
about that when you're doing that too.
Yes.
So that was all the questions we had for
Yes.
today. We still got more coffee to sip, so
We
make
will.
sure you jump along with us
Yes.
next time,
Yes.
and then send in your questions.
Send them in.
Let us know. We love
Yes,
to hear
you can
from
ask
you.
more than one.
Yep, if you have one or two, let us
Yes.
know. And if we don't get to you, we just keep doing these. So
Yes.
if we don't get to your question, it's a good question. We'll just put it in the queue for
We'll save it for next time.
so that we can get all those questions and things answered for you. And in the meantime, remember, it only takes an instant to create impact. Have an awesome day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.